Jamie here. Monday, June 30th, 3:34, 26 minutes left until the end of the first half. Second quarter comes to an end. Oh my gosh, crazy stuff. But anyway, take a look at the S&P up about a 0.5%. It was actually, I guess, teetering, going red to green, green to red at about 2:30. And then right at 2:30, there was reports out. I forget who the source is, Bloomberg, that Apple is thinking of using Anthropic or OpenAI in lieu of trying to create their own AI for Siri. So it's I haven't traded Apple in years. I'm trying to remember the last time I got calls, a year, 2 years ago. I'm not sure, but it's like this is a name that's been like stuck in the mud, and I'll talk about that in a second. But so just overall, I take a look at the markets going from pretty much almost to the red into the solid in the green right here at 618.25, 618. Remarkable stuff. Still think 624 the week is out, and then we'll have to see. Revisit next week. Earnings season doesn't kick off till next week is kind of a lull, and then it's the following Tuesday. And actually, I think I think United Airlines reports next Tuesday, next week, next Thursday, and then the following Tuesday is the start of earnings season. So outside of that, there's not much in the way of catalyst out besides these trade deal headlines. Continue to have headlines from the Commerce Secretary, Secretary. Then you had the uh, press conference, White House press conference. The press secretary, she was talking about some of the deals possibly on the table, and India, I guess, is the next one that's coming. Uh, and then that's about it. So, I hard to think what's going to derail the market. In my opinion, though, is like there needs to continue to be some wall of worry. Otherwise, at some point, we'll pull here. People are trying to bring that U.S. dollar into it, right? I mean, now you see, Hedge Eye is one of those folks similar to some of these other bear folks who have called 99 of the last two bear markets, and they'll pound their chest the instant the market teeters a little bit. And now I just saw it came over my fin to it. I don't know if it's a promoted ad or whatever. They're short the dollar and long the euro. Oh, a perfect timing there. I was talking about this morning to the U.S. dollar. It's like people, you read the headlines, you would think the U.S. dollar is at decades lows. It is at decades lows against some pairs of currency, right? But in regards to overall its strength, it's like, oh, people are fleeing the U.S. dollar and bringing assets back to their country. Well, we'll have to see how it all plays out. I mean, just more, and I was talking about the small caps and the impacts of the weak U.S. dollar. You also have to think like the U.S. debt, right? A lot of it's financed, a lot of it's held by foreign entities, right? So, strong U.S. dollar allows the U.S. government to doesn't cost as much to finance the debt. Where the weaker dollar, obviously, it's more costs more, right? So, lower yields, higher, stronger U.S. dollar. I think that will help alleviate some of this debt concern too with the tax bill. All right, so that's kind of the overall markets. And then take a look at the amount of stocks that their 200-day moving average, right? It's still stuck. Pretty much 56% of stocks on the S&P are over their 200-day moving average, and that's kind of been the par for the course since the start of May. And again, you can think that folks can make the case, and I posted that little clip from the Wall Street Journal this morning around only certain sectors, utilities are doing well, but the growth names aren't doing so well. That means this bull market won't have legs and it's going to be fragile. Hey, I'm not saying it can't be, but similarly, you have a lot of folks saying the breadth is bad. Not a lot of stocks have momentum. They're not over their moving averages. Uh, I continue to use the half glass full mentality, and I think that means there's opportunity for more upside here, especially in the longer term. So we'll see how this all plays out. Again, 620, and then maybe take a look at if we do get a pull, where that holds up, and then figure out some more trading channels. But for now, I mean, just onward and upward. That's what it's been. All right, so now just quick on the individual names. Joby, that news this morning. Stock rallied, spiked over 10 in the pre-market, then 11. All the way up to 11.16. It's pulled back since the afternoon. Used the move to close some more of my July strikes out, and I also went and got some August calls. So the Julys I've been sitting on, I closed some out for over 100% to cover costs, and then I held them. They went all the way down deep red, and then today brought them back to life, up over 100%, closed some more. Held a few and then used that to add some of the August strikes. Really like the Joby setup now. I keep talking about the name being, so it's almost like a drug, right? These drugs that in late stage studies, not only once they get to phase 3, then they get FDA approval, and then it's how long does it get to market and all. So it's like a long process till they finally generate revenues. And Joby's kind of been like that early, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And it feels like we're at the point where it's like FDA approval. Now it's just a matter of getting the logistics and the rollouts and things like that. So the closer it gets to that, and the more the days pass, the closer it gets to reality, and then I think it trades substantially higher. So that's the thought process there in Joby, but nice to get some more profits there. And then Reddit this morning, I had it on the watch, as I said, looking for some calls, probably to 160s, 165. Sure enough, spikes out of the gate, but the option market doesn't open right away on Reddit. So frustrating, continues to do that. Went and got to 165. Was able to close some out to cover some of the costs. I was trying to get out for 100%, and then it actually spiked. And once it got up to 155, my calls were solidly over 100%, but I held them just because my thought process is, and even now they're pretty much back to flat. So I have some profits out. Well, some cost. I'm still holding some more, but I'm like, I would still enter it here, the 165. So if that's my rationale, and I think it's going to head higher for the rest of the week, I might as well just hold those calls in lieu of locking them in and trying to chase another gap tomorrow or trying to get a later dated strike. So that's right. I'll continue to look for opportunities on that one. And then here's Apple, right? And Apple's not one of the sexier names, not the most volatile, and you can watch since pretty much the end of May, it's been stuck at 200. It's almost like flatlining because its earnings and recent headlines and all the updates has kind of been pointing to. And Apple, if you know Apple over the years, Apple's all about doing their own things. God, there used to be rumors of an Apple car, an Apple actual TV, not the Apple box or their Apple service. But Apple, and they always used to talk about acquiring people. Oh, Apple's going to buy Netflix. Apple's going to buy this to kind of start or jump the hurdles of what requires to do your own thing, right? So if you want to make a TV, maybe they would have acquired a TV manufacturer, right? So here it is with AI, and AI, it seems like the first thing that they've really completely struggled on. And so, the earnings, you thought, okay, here's you're going to have Siri, going to be up and ready. It's going to be, and then it hasn't. Now, all these other companies, even Alexa, right? I mean, it seems like everybody has their ducks in a row, and Apple's been struggling. And Apple, it's like they're 24% of their revenues is service related, but 75% of their margins is from that services revenue. So if they can figure out the AI, it's going to be the next leg of growth, and they haven't. I remember doing my rants on Apple back in the day, and it was like the iTunes and App Store and all that was in its infancy, and I'm like, the services side of the business, it's like any other business. The hardware side, once you get the phone in their hands, then you got to monetize that, and that's been the struggle. And I think that's why the stock's been stuck. So we'll see here if it can finally break out. I got some Lotto spec calls, already closed them out for 100%. I think it trades to 220. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow, see if the dust settles. And then I might look for some longer dated strikes. Because I think if they can, if they finally can bite the bullet, eat a little humble pie and say, hey, we need to get this AI going yesterday. Let's acquire or use our cash hoard to do something to get it going. You can see the market's already reacting positively. So hopefully those calls, I mean, it trades up 210 tomorrow. My call's gonna be up a couple 100%. I'll continue to ride those. Serve, a great day here today. The 12 strikes went over 12. I was looking to close some of my July strikes out for close to 100%. Didn't get there, but I did get and add some August calls. Like I keep saying, I think once it gets over 14 bucks, off to the races. I'll continue to hold those strikes. Roku, great open, and then dipped a little bit, then boom, all the way up to 89 bucks. Closed some of the July 95s for 100%. I'll continue to hold those in the 100 strikes. And then I was actually looking for August calls, but I'll be patient. No reason to rush. August, the premise would be that the earnings. So I want to encompass the earnings there. And Lemonade's getting a bid here. Is there some, let's see, Lemonade announces successful, what am I reading here? Renewal of reinsurance program. Okay, well, I'll have to read this when I get a chance. Still have my freebie July 55s on Lemonade. So at some point I'll be back in, maybe on a 45. Well, not back in, but add some more later strikes, probably on a break of 45. And I think that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. Again, don't forget it's holiday shortened trading week. So you got to pretend like today is like a Wednesday morning. I'm trying to think. So there's only 2.5 more days left in the trading week. So, well, Wednesday afternoon, I guess, right? All right, let's have a great day, folks. I'll be back. Rock and roll.